You tuned in to the Iceman Show podcast. I'm your host, the Iceman. More bounce to the ounce, and I say what counts. Don't nobody go home till the fat man gets it in. What's happening, chocolate people? What's crack-a-lacking on a Tuesday evening? Got a whole lot of things to holler at y'all about. So let's get with it, and let's do it to it. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody on the Facebook side, hit the like button. Everybody on the YouTube side, hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button. This is $5 Donation Tuesday. You can hit us on the Cash App, or you can go to asktheiceman.com and scroll down to the donate button and donate there. You could do either or you could do both. If you're feeling froggy, jump. You digs? Decided to do a broadcast tonight. I actually wasn't going to do it, but then I was like, because I had to drive, I had to go out of state for a quick minute to handle something, and kind of tired, but we're gonna do this anyway. I ain't gonna be on here all night, so been a lot of things happening in the news. We got these race soldiers going after these black children. These race soldiers posing as police officers, riding down on our children. Read about some 12-year-old young brother, young player, was selling mixtapes in an Atlanta mall and got charged with a felony. So as you can see, and there's some other instances where these so-called police officers, if that's what you want to call them, because that's police officers don't act like that. Occupiers act like that. You digs? And we're going to get into that tonight. Now, without giving a history lesson on police in the United States or the United Snakes of America, I'm going to talk about the social implication as to why the police behave the way they do. And then hopefully at the end, I'll give you some solutions as to what we can do as a group to combat this nonsense. Because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be all uphill. But if you guys are willing to fight and not cower, then maybe we might be able to get something done. But protesting ain't gonna get it done. Protesting ain't gonna get it done. Because you know what I say about marching and protesting. That's why I'm gonna end up writing that book. I'm gonna write that book, y'all. I did a video about 8 years ago called I Marched for Civil Rights and All I Got Was Sore Feet. I'm gonna write that book. So marching and protesting ain't what I'm talking about doing. You digs? Because we are in a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where we're gonna have to make a move. Remember Shalimar had this song back, they had this song back in 81 called Make That Move. Well, it's time to make that move. And I think for us to sit here and keep hoping and wishing that this problem is going to go away is ignorant. And no, it's not ignorant because we know better. When the definition of being ignorant is not knowing any better. We know better. So it must be stupidity. You digs? Now, the history of the police in America, where they got, here's how that morphed into what it is today. The first police officers in this country were the slave patrollers or the paddy rollers. And the slave patrollers did exactly that. They were overseers. They were not overseers, but they were these gate mouth, snag-a-tooth, unkempt, unbathed, ignorant, couldn't read, didn't know how to read, less than pieces of dog manure, who did the risk management work for the plantation owners. They would retrieve runaway slaves, and then they would receive a few shillings. You dig? And so what happened is that morphed into the Marshal Service, U.S. Marshal Service. But also in some areas, they had what was called the sheriff, which was a law enforcement term that was taken from the UK, from Britain. But the marshals went after fugitives and other types of criminals. Fast forward to about maybe 100 and so years ago, where they started to have organized law enforcement, especially in major cities like New York, Chicago, places like that, after Reconstruction. And what ended up happening is these were bums who were basically these were Caucasian dudes who would kiss up to certain government officials. And when I mean government, I'm talking about the local government, like the municipality, like the mayor's office, city council. And so these people, there was no training. They were a bunch of drunks. Essentially, they were just ragtag, and they were a joke. Professional law enforcement really didn't start until about maybe the 20s or 30s of last century. That's when you had the FBI was created, the precursor to the Treasury agent, the IRS agent. But in major cities, you had the NYPD, you had the LA, you had the LAPD, but you had the Chicago PD in Cleveland, city, Pittsburgh, industrial cities, where a lot of Detroit, where a lot of people were, because of the Industrial Revolution in those cities, things got, those cities got developed a lot faster than some of these other parts of the country, especially faster than the West Coast or from the Mississippi over. Anyway, anybody who was loyal to the mayor got put on the police department. There was no police academy. There was nothing. You were just given a gun and badge. And basically all these guys did was go around and harass prostitutes, get free favors from prostitutes in order for them not to go to jail. And they harassed, murdered, and accosted and occupied Black neighborhoods, as well as other ethnic neighborhoods. Same thing with the fire department. You'd be surprised what the fire department used to use to put out fires. They had buckets. Professional training, again, really didn't start till not that long ago. There were police departments and fire departments that had no academy until maybe 50, 60 years ago. There were no professional standards whatsoever. There was no running. There was nothing. So it was clear. And when I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about the sheriff's department and I'm around the country and city cops. I'm not gonna really deal with. I'm gonna deal with state and the feds, but I'm gonna mainly stick with the county sheriff deputies and municipal cops, because those are the ones we have contact with on a daily basis. You ain't gonna see the state trooper unless you're in a real rural area or you're on the highway. And even then you might not see them at night because they somewhere asleep. Trust me, I know. Don't think these cops don't go catch them a couple Z's while they on the night shift. Okay? I know all about that. So what these guys do. So let me fast forward some, because the meat of the stuff that I want to talk to you guys about tonight is the social aspect, where they fit in as far as where they fit in American society and at what level. So fast forward to 2019. Where we see law enforcement at that level. I remember one time I was talking to somebody and they said, "Hey, Iceman, let me ask you a question. Where does the police fall as far as the social structure in America is concerned?" And I said, based on what I learned as an undergrad when I was studying criminal justice, law enforcement, and that does include the feds, although the feds are not going to be out there patrolling. That's not their function. They investigate. That's it. So let's stick with state police on down. Police officers, their main function is protecting the property of the rich. And what I mean by that is, when I say property, I'm not just talking about their Bentleys or their Bugattis. I'm talking about their businesses, their warehouses, their everything. And I'm not talking about the mom and pop plumbing shop that's got 10 trucks. They could care less about them. Who they care about is Walmart, Kohl's, Target, some big, huge warehouse, FedEx warehouse, UPS warehouse, a Kraft manufacturing plant. Those kind of assets. That's their number one job. Their number one job is to protect the assets of the rich, as well as protecting their lives. Remember, going back to what I said at the top of the hour, at the top of this broadcast, police officers in these major cities, if you go back 70, 80 years, they got the job based on how loyal they were to the mayor's office. Oh, it is. It's a table dance, all right. Only thing about it, I'm not gonna twerk, and I ain't got no titties to show you. But what they do, so if you look at this whole situation, you can see that cops are not loyal to the neighborhoods they patrol. They're only loyal to rich people and they're just there to protect their assets. That's why every time we have a hurricane, and what do? They don't care about nothing. They don't even care about the people drowning and floating down the street like they were during Hurricane Katrina. I was in Austin. I lived in Austin back then, so I wasn't that far from Louisiana. I wasn't that far from New Orleans. I was chilling in Austin back then, and I can tell you, because a lot of them New Orleans people, a lot of them relocated to Austin. I met some of them. Very nice people. Man, a lot of nice brothers and sisters. That was like, who are y'all from? I heard y'all asking, where y'all from? We from Louisiana. We from New Orleans. We got caught up in that hurricane. We lost our house. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. But you notice during Hurricane Katrina, what were they doing? The police was worried about Ray and Pookie and Martavius and them walking in shoulder height and stomach and chest high water with a flat screen TV. That's all they were worried about, was trying to keep black folks from getting that stuff that's going to get damaged by water anyway. And they're going to claim it on the insurance. They might as well let people get it. Then you got all these so-called big and bad clowns out here talking about anybody that tries to break in our writing stuff on the window, talking about anybody try to, loot their business will be shot. And I'm like, you ain't gonna do nothing. Because if you kill somebody for stealing some property, you're gonna have a whole lot to answer to. You may, and because you kill a black person, you might not go to jail, but you're gonna get sued. And your business, your little $2 bar will be closed. Soon as that rain, soon as the rain and the wind stop, you go into court where you're going to be liable. A lot of tough talk with people who ain't gonna do nothing anyway. Anyway, so as you can see, even when the National Guard was deployed, they were more worried about them businesses than they were trying to save people's lives. You rolling down the street in tanks and all this other stuff, guys walking around with M16. What for? It's a hurricane, you idiot. You got to understand, a lot of them business, I'm going to tell you right, other than the big box stores, they got insurance. Some of them little small businesses, a lot of them guys ain't even got no insurance. You'd be surprised how many business owners don't have liability. They don't have liability coverage and they don't have insurance. They don't have any of that stuff. That's why when they get sued, they just close it. They just close the business down because they know they ain't got no money. They ain't got no coverage. So it's clear who these people, who law enforcement is beholden to. It ain't us. That's why they ain't got a problem with crapping on the citizenry around this country. Not just black folks, but some other folks too. That's why they ain't got no problem with that. Because they like, I don't represent you. I'm not here to protect and serve you. I'm here to protect and serve Warren Buffett. They are the buffer between you and those folks. The plutocrats. And these ruling class folks and upper middle class folks. And so their position in American society is enforcement. They are the enforcement wing of the WSs, but they are also I forgot what one of my professors called it. I'm trying to remember what she called it, but she said the police are really, what they really are is, they're there to stoke fear in the citizenry, but they're also there to keep you in line, to scare you, to let you know that, hey, we'll come out here and crack heads and bust heads open. You digs? See how that works? These folks ain't no joke, man. So I hope that this little bit of information can kind of help explain why they behave the way they do. Because a lot of people are like, people say, well, they just, they did, the police are this or they that, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, excuse me. Let me explain why they do what they do. Let me explain why they behave the way they do. Because you need to understand that, especially those of you who are parents of young children. You need to break this down for them. Whenever these, people be like, well, the police are supposed to be there to protect and serve the neighborhood. No, they ain't. If there's police officers in black neighborhoods, they are occupiers. They're not there to enforce the law. They're there to selectively harass, murder, and protect what assets that do belong to the ruling class, the Plutarchs, or whatever they call them. That's what they're there for. I know what it's like to drive home from work at night and I get, police officers putting guns to my head. And then when they ask me where I'm coming from, I say, man, I'm coming from work. Talk about, well, we doing a gang sweep. I'm like, do I look like a gang member to you, fool? Oh, all right. Sorry about that, young blood. Man, don't come at me like that, man. See, after a while, I was just like, man, I'm about tired of this. You go to the club, you clean. You and your boys are clean. We done drank our 40s. We at somebody, one of our homeboys' house drinking. We on the way to the club, here the police pulling us over. Got everybody getting out the car, laying on the ground or sitting on the curb, and you clean. So now you either got to dust yourself off and still go to the club, or we got to go home for somebody to change. Yet, if Caucasian people with a little cash happen to be in the hood, all of a sudden they rolling around there treating these people like they the president. Soon as them Caucasian people leave, back to business as usual, cracking black folks' heads. So as you can see, they are there to selectively enforce the law whenever they feel like it. They're there to pin cases on brothers if they feel like it. They're there to, back in my day when I was a kid, it wouldn't be uncommon for, Caucasian officers to rape black women. It wasn't uncommon to take, if you was, black, and in some instances Mexican too, they would take you somewhere and beat you down and then drop you off somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I never got done like that, but I know guys that got accosted by the police. And I'm just like, I'm glad I went with y'all that day. I done had cats tell me they got choked out by the police. Just all kind of stuff. Because police supposed to be coming over there to handle a situation, and they come over there and beat the mamas behind. Mama boyfriend be done left, and they come over there and they come over there beating on the mama. Oh man, they was buck wild when I was a kid. They didn't have no shame back in the 60s and 70s, dog. They didn't care. That was nationwide. It didn't matter where you lived. You could have been in New York City. Don't matter. Could have been in Seattle. Could have been in LA. Didn't matter. But it was worse down south. But to a certain degree, occupying racists are a problem everywhere. Because you don't feel safe. The very people supposed to be protecting you are busting your head wide open. They splitting your wig. Exactly, Mr. Blackman. Drop you off in another hood. If you a Crip, they'll go beat you up and then drop you in a blood hood. That's what they used to do out there in LA. Just crazy, man. You already got one fool in here already. Took care of that. Go ahead and boot your behind right on out of here. People be, hey, let me tell y'all something. People be on the YouTube side. If you come in my chat room talking crazy, I'm gonna block you. You understand me? This is a serious subject that brothers and sisters are trying to get information on, and you always got some clown coming in here acting like they shoe size. So they're there to protect the rich, them personally, and they're there to protect their assets. That's it. Now you have the managerial class of Caucasians, the CEOs of the companies, the managers, the executives. That's what you call the managerial class. These are the folks that manage the assets of the rich. And when we say the assets, we're talking about their businesses. But they also are federal judges, prosecutors, federal agents, DEA, ATF, FBI, DEA. That's all managerial class. All those people count as managerial class. But law enforcement, they have a special function, and that's keeping the citizenry afraid of what might happen if they get out of line. But see, the only people they really want to keep in line is us. But I'm going to tell you right now, if they treated these Caucasians, if they keep taking more and more of these jobs away from Dewey and Bubba and them, there's going to be anarchy in this country. And let me tell you something. These Caucasian folks, especially these blue collar types, they have no problem getting violent against the police. They don't care. That's why you have to understand that the states, all 50 states, the state governments, as well as the federal government, play this game where they pit different races against each other. Like I was looking at something that came on A&E. I don't know if y'all saw it. It was called The Trump Dynasty. and they were showing how much of a con artist that Trump is. I couldn't believe some of the stuff he was doing. He was doing he was doing stuff that you and I do in the hood, but only he was doing it on the level he does it on. You digs? You have to understand something. Exactly. That's what they turned into. MGR 4749. Exactly. Police departments have been turned into paramilitary organizations. Okay? That's what why you think they wear fatigues and stuff now? They wasn't wearing that stuff. If you go back 20 years, they wasn't wearing fatigues. I'm like, what you doing out here fatigues? You ain't served this country. What you doing? I be looking at these guys like, man, I'm a vet. What you doing sitting up here wearing fatigues? You ain't stood no post. And then, good old Obama. A lot of people don't know about that Blue Lives Matter bill he passed that gave them all the same equipment that we used to use in Iraq. They got them tanks and personnel carriers. They got that stuff. The police departments got that stuff. Do you know how fortified some of that stuff is? You can't shoot in some of them vehicles. Yeah, in a Humvee, but not those big tank looking things. You can't even shoot the glass out. The glass is bulletproof. What is police departments doing with that kind of stuff? Plus, that bill gave them darn near almost the same weaponry that we had in the military. They don't just have AR-15s. They have MP5s. They have MP4s. They have all kind of stuff. AK-47s. Everybody, this is $5 Donation Tuesday. Please go to AskTheIceman.com or hit me on the Cash App, y'all. Cash App ID is right there. Everybody, if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Please do that for me, please. We're just asking for $5 donations. Every donation is 100% tax deductible. What I do is I fundraise from January to August for the new school year, for the 2019-2020 school year. I fundraise from January to August. And what we do is I send a check to go for them to buy clothes, school uniforms, and book bags and books and school supply. But I mainly I buy the clothes. Because a lot of kids don't have no clothes, man. You got so many parents out here who are too concerned with hitting the pipe or just out here turning up that, the kids going to school with empty bellies and dirty faces and funky bodies. And it's just, I saw it when I was a teacher. It's heartbreaking, man. It's hard to care about people and you go to work and you ain't making no money. I mean, they weren't paying us but $40,000 a year. You go in there making $40,000 a year. You got some racist principal who don't care nothing but about test scores. And you go in and see them black kids getting their parents treating them the way they do. And it's just like, man, you know, even at second and third grade, you realize these kids ain't gonna make it. Because how do you come out of a home where you know you only got a sorry mama for a parent, and your mama's mad because she done messed her life up, so she taking her anger out on the kids. Sad, man. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, Mr. Blackman. That's my net. I'm gonna talk about blacks in law enforcement in a minute. Oh, I'm gonna get to that. See, when I graduated from school with my criminal justice degree, I was gonna be a cop. And I was on several police departments hiring lists, and I was going to interview for FBI and DEA. And when I found out how racist the DEA and FBI was, in addition to the police departments, I got an uncle that used to be an FBI agent. When he graduated from law school back in the 60s, they were hiring blacks. That's when they first started hiring blacks, like the late 60s, early 70s. And he said, man, they were so racist. They still that way. So you have to ask yourself, if you a black you a black DEA agent or you a black police officer, Because I got a cousin that was a state trooper down south, and he, you know, of course, he married to a fat white woman, and he's a coon. He is a certified Sambo. He is a certified coon / Sambo. I mean, dancing pancakes, Sambo. I'm talking singing, dancing pancakes, Sambo. When that Amber Ghetto Geiger, that former Dallas police officer shot that young brother in Dallas. Do you know this coon got on Facebook talking about, okay, everybody, let's not race the judgment. Let's let law enforcement handle it. I said, if you don't shut up, you coon. I said, if you don't shut up. Now he's retired now. But I remember one time, I think it was my grandmother's funeral. He showed up with his uniform on. I said, F the police. F the police, all in front of family. Oh, he was like, oh man, come on, cuz, man. I'm like, man, you toy cop. You toy cop. Most black police officers, and I know I got some police officers that listen to me. Not all police officers are coons. There are a small minority of them that I have run across who ain't coons. I got some fraternity brothers who are cops. They ain't coons. Them brothers ain't coons. I got some fraternity brothers who are federal agents. They not coons. They don't play that racism crap. Okay? But I can tell you this. There are black police officers who I have come in contact with who pointed guns at me and treated me worse than the white cops did. I remember one time this black guy, this state trooper, this Michigan state trooper pulled me over. I didn't even know my what it was. These old low life racist bottom feeders. They took my license plate off my truck. So I'm coming home from work and this cop pulls me over. I'm like, what you pulling me over for? I ain't speeding. Now he sounds just like a little white boy. Well, basically, I pulled you over because you don't have a license plate. I said, I didn't know. I said, somebody must have took my license plate off. My license plate didn't fall off, sir. I can tell you that right now. And I said, I'll go get a temporary tomorrow. And he was like, well, I got to give you a ticket tonight. Oh, he was a jackass. So because of black police officers like him, the first thing I think of when I get pulled over by a black cop is you gonna treat me the same way, if not worse, than one of these racist white cops. But one thing, because I'm a combat vet and I don't care, and I'm crazy like that, I used to talk crazy to the police. My ex-wife used to be like, don't say nothing to them. I'm like, man, what you pulling me over for? Well, you made an illegal lane change. I said, man, I ain't make no illegal lane change. What you talking about? I remember one time I was driving back from school, going back up to the little town me and my ex stayed in, and I got pulled over by the Michigan State Police. And this racist clown, man, me and him was arguing. We was on the side of the road arguing. I said, hey, man, I said, I just graduated from down here, man. What's wrong with you? I said, man, you ain't gonna, I said, what you pulling me over for, man? We were going at it. I didn't care back then. I don't care now. I still don't care. Where he messed up, he had a student from the university I graduated from. He had a student in the car with him. And the student got out the car. He was in regular street clothes. And I said, what's he doing? I said, what's he the cover officer? Boy, dude got scared. He said, all right, man, have a nice day, man. I said, he ain't supposed to be interacting with me. He's not a police officer. What is he doing out of the car? You have a nice day, sir. Mm-hmm. And I got back in the car. My ex was like, he didn't give you a ticket? I was like, no. She was like, why not? I said, because he could lose his job with that young dude in the car with him getting out of the car like that. He could lose his job for that. When you do a ride along, you're supposed to sit there with the seatbelt on and shut up. You ain't supposed to be getting out of the car. So I knew I had him. He wasn't going to give me a ticket anyway, because I was just loud talking him, and just everything he threw at me, I was just, get out of here. So that after I graduated, every time I came in contact with police, I said, hey, man, I know what you know. Be careful. I know what you know. I got a criminal justice degree. About to go to law school. Might want to slow your roll. You have a nice day, sir. That got me out of a lot of tickets, dog. Most black police officers are complicit in the crap that goes on as it relates to black people between the cops and the police, the cops and law-abiding black citizens. I have very little respect for them because a lot of these black police officers will treat you like crap, and just so the white officers won't think they soft on their own people. Just like I don't have no respect for black prosecutors. One of the prosecutors that locked up Bill Cosby is a black woman. And I'm willing to bet $50 that she married to a white dude. You'd be surprised with a lot of these cases with when they go after these black people, the prosecutors, the main prosecutor might be white, or the DA might be white. And then, you know, when they do the press conference, the DA be out there talking instead of the assistant DA. But a lot of times when they go after these big fish, like how they trying to go after R. Kelly, they have multiple ADAs. And one of the prosecutors, if my memory serves me correct, one of the prosecutors that's assigned to R. Kelly's case is a black woman. They know what they're doing. They know who they coons and Sambos are. Okay? Because when these black folks go to apply for these jobs, they let it be known that they're there to serve their white masters as well as their white co-workers. They're not there to protect the public. Okay? Understand that. Here's what I want you guys to hear. This is why I made this is what I'm getting ready to talk about is one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this live stream tonight, because I want the brothers and sisters to hear me when I explain this. In all 50 states, let me say this before I go into this. Ladies and gentlemen, your politicians, Democrat or Republican or independent, aren't going to do anything about these police killing us. They're not going to do anything. Understand that. You can go out there and protest. You can go out there and stomp your feet, clap your hands, and walk around with your signs talking about, you know, Black Lives Matter. You can do that all you want. And I'm going to tell you right now, the folks down at the county supervisor's office and the folks down there at the city council and the mayor's office are going to be like, march if you want to. That's your protest if you want to. That's your First Amendment right. But that ain't going to change anything. So you are wasting your time. It don't make no sense for you to stand out there in the cold, getting a snotty nose, standing out top there complaining about the police. They're going to do what they want to do. It's just like Denzel's character said in Training Day. We the police, we do what we want to do. Remember when homeboy, the white dude, he said, hey, man, we ain't, hey, that's how they do in LA too. I ain't lying. You remember when they went to go over there where Macy Gray's character was in there over there by Jordan Dine, over there by Imperial Courts, over there in LA. I know exactly where that is. Them Crips right there. Okay? That's the hood over there. Whenever I met women, when I lived in LA, wherever I met women, they talking about, oh, I live over there by the Imperial Course. I'm like, you have a nice day. I ain't picking nobody up over there. Because you go over there in that area waiting for somebody to come out and you get jacked. I'm like, man, I had a brand new truck then too. I'm like, oh no, you ain't gonna catch me slipping. But remember, he said Denzel got out the car and he had that Chinese, restaurant menu, and he folded it up. And he said, he looked down, he said, what you doing? He said, oh, we getting ready to serve this warrant. He said, I ain't no warrant. That had me dying. Okay. He said, shut up, rookie. What'd he say? He said, we the police. We do what we want to do. Okay? Real talk. And that's their mentality. We do what we want to do. Oh, no doubt. I'm going to do a video on Trump. I'm going to do a video on Trump because when I saw that 3-part series they did on him, it was a trip. Dude, I couldn't believe the stuff he was doing. Trump should be in jail. And I ain't talking about that old Russian mess. I'm talking about before he became president. He should have been in prison. Some of the stuff he was doing. He should be in Sing Sing. Well, actually, he should be in a federal penitentiary. He should be at Club Fed. That's where he ought to be. All right, guys, let's get these donations popping. Hey, come on, man. Come on, guys. Come on, YouTube. Let's get it cracking. Come on, man. $5. Y'all got $5. Let's get it cracking. Come on, hit me on the Cash App. Come on. I'll let y'all think about it. I'm gonna take a quick break before I do this most important part. Keep it locked right here on the Iceman Show podcast. It's the Iceman. Be back in 2 and 2, y'all. Hey guys, look. One person donated. One person. Those of you who are not on recurring, weekly or monthly donating, you have no excuse. If you listen to my show or you look at my live streams every time I do a show and I see the same people in here, I don't know what it is the last couple of weeks, but people been straight up slipping. Now, if you want me to stop the show right here, I will continue the show on the Facebook side. Do you understand me, YouTube? This is why I stopped doing the show before, because you guys don't show appreciation for me taking time out of my schedule to drop game on you. And some of you guys been listening to me for damn near 10 years. So you have no excuse. I got people who donate who just start listening to me. What's your excuse? Some of you guys, I notice you never donate. That's a problem. See, this is why Black people are in the situation we're in today. This is why the police can kill you with impunity. Because Black folks don't show support for each other where we should and when we should. But all of us have no problem standing up here with your hand out, waiting for somebody to break you off, and yet you have contributed nothing. That's why Tamir Rice got killed. That's why Jordan Davis got killed. That's why Trayvon Martin got killed. Because we got Black men who don't lead. And these cops out here, they're not scared of you. They can talk all that, oh, I was scared for my life. They ain't scared of you. They ain't scared of you because they know you ain't going to do nothing. Oh, you'll pop off. Oh, of course you'll pop off in here in the chat room because nobody knows who you are. But I guarantee if your real name was your username, you wouldn't be talking half the crap you do. Because you'd be scared that Honky McGee would get at you. See, the reason why I can sit here and say what I say, because I'm not scared of them. But you are. And you know you are. These folks have put the fear of death in you. But you only pop off when you're around other Black people. %99% of y'all can't even protect yourselves. You wonder why the things that happen in our society happen to us? Because Black men don't stand for anything. You too busy wasting your money giving it to strippers and giving it to nasty single moms who won't even show you a nipple, but you'll give them $25 on the Cash App for nothing. You all in they DM talking about, ooh, baby, you fine. Like they really gonna holler at you. You are invisible. You ain't even a real person to these women. But when somebody try to lace you with some game, you want to be totally disrespectful. When I remember a few years back, I shut the show down. I didn't do any videos. And I had people sending me emails talking about, hey, Ice, why you stop doing the show? I said, because you guys don't support the show, man. You don't support the show. You guys are a bunch of freeloaders. That's why. You got guys that's so ridiculous that you got people out here who will give a strip of their whole paycheck, but then won't even donate $5. Don't make no sense, man. We gotta get out. Black people, let me explain something to you, man. In 2020, you got an opportunity to get reparations, tangible reparations out of these folks who stole your land from you, who stole your religion from you, who stole your Black identity from you. And you know what? Those of you who are sitting in the chat room right now who are too ridiculous, cheap, sorry, and trifling to donate $5, yet you've been listening to me 6, 7, 8 years. You're going to cost all the rest of us. Those of us like me who are out here 10 toes down in the game, trying to make stuff happen. You are going to cost every last one of us because you're a trifling coward. You're going to cost us all. See, this is what happens when you have single moms raising boys. This is what happens. You get males who are not men. You don't know how to stand up and lead anybody, even leading yourself. You can't even do that. You ain't capable of doing that. You can't even get that right. I can't even finish this live stream because you guys are cowards. Richard Spencer ain't got to talk to his people like this. He ain't even got to ask. 5 seconds into his live stream, they like, here's $100. Keep those darkies in line. Here's 1,000. Here's 100. By the time he get done with the live stream, he done raised $4 or $5 grand. Meanwhile, I can only raise 10. I told you guys last week, or it may have been the week before that, if we keep having these live streams where I got people that have been sitting up here listening to me for damn near the whole time I've been doing the Iceman Show podcast, which almost is going on 10 years. I'm going to shut this thing down and I'm going to go back to subscription only, which is what I used to do back in the day. There are videos that I did 6, 7 years ago that some of you have never heard because I never released them to the public. because you don't deserve it. But the people who pay that subscription fee every month, they got the chance to see it. You see how this works? I'm not here playing, dude. The problem with you guys, you got young and old black men who are cowards. You really don't, you know, sometimes I listen to TBA's show. And not only is it old clowns that call in sounding like they just something is wrong with them. It's young guys that call in clueless. That's because you got raised by a clueless woman. Because a woman can't teach you anything other than how to be a manipulator, which is what a lot of you guys are. Okay? This is a shame. I expect more out of the guys that have been listening to me for 6, 7, 8 years. I shouldn't have to ask you to donate any money. Much game I done laced you with 1,000 plus. No, really, probably about 1,200 videos. Because I got the Iceman Show channel. I can't get into that because I took too long. I didn't go in and out of that account. So that account's still up. That channel's still up. I just can't get into it. Then I got the Iceman Unchained channel. That's my other channel. Black men, we have to do better. I expect, you know, I still have black women who donate. I give black women more credit than you. Because I know women ain't gonna spend no money. Women ain't gonna spend no money. Especially if it's a black man attached to it. So if they are coming up off that paper, what's your excuse? Huh? What's your excuse? What's your excuse, black man? You call yourself a man? Act like one. You give Honky McGee all your money for them games. Your video villain behind sitting there with your thumbs. Them video games ain't provide any kind of information to you. This is embarrassing. I expect more out of my listeners than this, man. Seriously. Let me just say this here, man. I'm just gonna switch over to Facebook. I ain't got time for this nonsense. Let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you something, YouTube. You guys, this is the last time you guys gonna pull this crap. If we don't meet our goals on Saturday, on Saturday, if no other day, Saturday, I try to fundraise. I try to fundraise for at least $100. That ain't nothing, dude. That's nothing. If we don't hit $100 on Saturday, I'm shutting this show down, and it's gonna be monthly subscription only. If you don't pay, you don't see. That's just gonna be that way. If Saturday we had the same lameness and cowardice that I'm seeing tonight, we're done. It's a wrap. And if you think I'm playing, watch me. The Players Circle podcast is every Saturday. We'll have a broadcast at 1 p.m. Pacific time. If we don't raise $100 for fundraising, we're going subscription only. You may get an email, you may not get one. If you haven't been donating on a regular basis, I don't care what you do. You can go somewhere else. But you ain't going to be here. Now, I still have a few people who still pay the subscription fee monthly, but, you know, it counts as a donation. Because some of them sent me emails say, "Hey, Ice, you ain't gotta make no videos just for us, just for me. Just count it as a donation." I'm like, okay. Usually during the week, like on a day like today, I try to raise 50. Okay. Right now, let me see. Looks like we raised $10. Okay. Now, I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds. I'm going to give y'all a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take another break. If we don't get another decent donation tonight, YouTube, we're done. Understand? And Saturday, we don't raise $100, brother, there will be no more Iceman show. At least not on YouTube. Appreciate it, Hot Dusty. Appreciate it, man. I want to apologize to those of my other listeners that had to, for me having to stop the show. But we as black folks, we got to stop playing, man. We play too much. That's why a lot of that. Let me explain. Let me say this before I go on. Ladies, brothers and sisters, let me say something to you, especially you young bloods and you young sisters. You know why brothers like me, when they start making money, they just don't want to have nothing to do with you? You know why they do that? Because of what I just talked about a few minutes ago. We have a habit of taking our people for granted. And when they walk away and say, hey, you know what? I'm not helping my people. I'm going to go over here with Hunky McGee. I'm going to do more for their people than I'm going to do for you. That's why they do that. Don't think I won't do it too. I don't have to do this. This is my way of giving back. Because the black men of my father's generation, they left my generation hanging. Let me tell you something. If your becoming educated was left up to people like some of my siblings, you be up the creek, dog. I'm telling you. Because I got siblings and relatives, they don't care about nobody but themselves. Which is why we as black men, especially black men, this is why we're in the condition we're in today, where we get killed by anybody. And nothing is done. Because they know they can get away with it. And if it wasn't for a handful of halfway decent Caucasian police officers, those folks, the handful of people who are either on their way to prison or in prison because they killed an unarmed black citizen, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. Because the prosecutor's office ain't going to do nothing. Because the first thing the prosecutor's going to say is, bring me a case. But if you do something to a white citizen, whether they're poor, dirt poor, or they got money, not only are you going to prison, you going under the prison. Do you understand me? Those of you who have never had a father, you need to listen. I get some of these little young idiots. They say, "Oh, you should hope to get to my age, fool. You should hope to get to my age. I didn't get here by being a dummy. I want you to surpass me. I don't want you to do as good as I'm doing. I want you to surpass me. But you're not going to get there with no information. We have to do better, black men. I don't expect these black women to do anything. But I expect you to do something without asking. Because Richard Spencer and David Duke, they ain't got to do nothing. because they understand it takes money to run something. Ain't nothing free. The only thing that's free is death. And even that in America ain't free. The most important part of this live stream, I'm getting ready to break you off right now. Every 50 state has something called PSOT, Peace Officer Standards Training. That's the state board that gives the police officer his or her powers to use that gun and that badge 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 if they're still employed. These people at the state level, it's made up of retired police officers, as well as some people, depending on the state, who may be elected to that board, or not necessarily elected, but the governor appoints them. They set the standards on police academy, employment standards, pre-employment standards, and also standards that the police officer or the police departments must follow in order to be in compliance. So these people are very powerful in the realm of criminal justice. This is why marching and protesting is a waste of your time. Listen to me. If you want to affect these police officers killing us with impunity or police brutality, all of it. Let's just talk about all of the injustices that mainly Black men experience at the hands of law enforcement officials. Whether it's getting choked out, because they ain't even supposed to use that chokehold no more. I don't know any police department in this country that still is supposed to use the chokehold. So Eric Garner should still be here. And some police departments around the country, if they utilize that chokehold, they get fired. But when it comes to a Black man, no big deal. No big deal. The Peace Officer Standards Training. If you go to their website for your respective state, it may have all the stuff on there. It may not. May not have all the standards on there because there's paid thousands and hundreds of pages of stuff. And it's procedural stuff. What police departments need to do to train, recertify, certify. You can't go out there investigating crime and you ain't a detective. You can't train an officer unless you're a P3, was a police officer 3 level, which is somebody that's probably got at least 4 or 5 years on the job, usually more than that, 6, 7 years. But in bigger police departments that are short-handed, you in 4 or 5 years, you might be a training officer. But the pay scale, in order to get you, by the time you get to that level, it depends on the police department or sheriff's department or state agent, the state police. In order to shut down all these murders that keep happening with black men dying at the hands of police officers and some black women and black children. The procedures that are in the POST standards have to be changed. Are y'all listening to me? This is the only way this killing black men crap is going to stop. So you have to understand, most police departments are given a blank check to kill citizens, anybody. It ain't just us, but it's mainly us. They just don't report on it every time a white person get killed by the police. Some of them get shot. Although some of these crazy white folks some of them be having guns and be trying to run up on the police. But some of them be unarmed. That has to be put in the standards. That has to be put in as procedure that, okay, procedure 15-A, B, C, and D. Police officers cannot use deadly force unless, just like when I was in a war, they said, don't engage them Iraqis until they start shooting at you. Now, I know that might sound ridiculous, but that was the rules. So anybody that decided they was going to pop a cap, they got court-martialed. So if those rules apply when you're in the military, then you can add procedures or change procedures and say, this is what has to happen. If the suspect has a gun, the police officer, here's how I was trained. I was trained on the tool belt technique. Here's what the tool belt technique is. You are to use every skill and equipment available to you to de-escalate a situation. If I roll up on you and I pull you over, I ask you for your registration, your driver's license, and your insurance card. When I walk up to your car, I'm already looking in the vehicle to see if there's some shenanigans going on. If I see guys in the back seat moving around like they, which is something you should be real dumb. You should be smart enough not to do, unless you want to get a cap popped in you. Right or wrong. This ain't about right and wrong. If I see people in the back seat fidgeting and moving around, I probably will draw my weapon. And I'm going to say, you guys in the back seat, put your hands on top of the car. Okay? Driver, throw the keys outside the car. Put your hands outside the car where I can see them. What am I doing? Because what I'm going to do after I draw my weapon, I'm going to back up to my cruiser, pull the door out, and I'm going to get on the loudspeaker, and I'm going to give you some commands. So I can keep from killing you. See, this is what a well-trained officer is going to do. He's going to use his mouthpiece first. Because what happens if I pump a few rounds in the back seat through the back window? I'm going to end up killing them people in the back seat. And maybe they was just trying to hide some weed. And they didn't have no weapons. So I'm using my tool belt. Yeah, I drew my weapon and I could have used deadly force, but I used my training and I said, no, let me get some cover. Because the way I park my vehicle is that engine's gonna catch that bullet first anyway. But that door, I'm gonna push that door out. And I'm gonna get behind that door. And I'm gonna be like, hey, this is what I want y'all to do. Okay? I'm not saying that instances like with Philando Castile, that was the case, because he didn't touch his weapon. He said, I got a permit to carry permit, and my gun is underneath the seat. And that jive dude just shot him for no reason. But again, does the POST standards for the state of Minnesota say you can't fire your weapon unless the suspect draws down on you? See, that's how they taught them back in the day, 40, 50 years ago. You don't shoot unless they show a weapon. That's why back then, if you shot somebody back in the 80s in the back, there was hell to pay. Because the threat, there's no more threat. The guy's running away from you. Why are you shooting him in his back? Well, he had a gun. Well, he dropped the gun 5 feet after he took off. There's no more threat. What are you doing? See, now you can do that as long as you shoot black men and women and children. Because it's not in the procedures. It's not part of the standards in writing. That's why this 2020 election we got to take care of business. But that's the federal level. The federal level ain't the problem. It's each individual state that's the problem. Like I'm listening to Reverend Al Sharpton. He talking about we got to get something done at the congressional level. No, because the ATF and the FBI ain't out here shooting black people. It's these deputy sheriffs, these state police, and these municipal cops that are out here killing black folks. Y'all see where I'm going with this? What else do I have on my tool belt to de-escalate this situation? Y'all see how some of these white dudes be out here talking crazy to the police, running up on the police, especially in these states like Iowa. I was looking at Live PD the other night or not the other night, but like maybe 2 months ago. And There was interviewing this deputy sheriff, and this white dude was in a trailer. He told him to come out. He was serving a warrant, an arrest warrant, and dude wouldn't come out the house. So finally he said, "Hey man, come out the house." So dude, no, it was a call. He got a call there. Somebody was saying it was a domestic violence call, but when he got there, it was quiet. So he was like, well, you know, a domestic violence call is the worst call to go on, dude. I'm serious. I remember this one state trooper told me, he said, man, he said, I was in an area where there wasn't no deputy sheriffs or no city cops. I had to go on a domestic violence call. He said, I went over there, I got the man off the woman, and the woman jumped on me with a knife. And he said she would have killed me had I not had my bulletproof vest on. He was like, man, you have no idea. He said, man, these women, he said, dude, when you go to these domestic violence situations, the women are just as dangerous as the men. So this white dude is coming out the trailer. He had a gun. This fool had a gun. This show you how patient these white police officers are. This dude comes out the trailer. He comes down the steps. He says, sir, drop the weapon. Sir, he kept backing up. Now, the way I was trained, you don't keep backing up like that because you can back into something or step on something and fall. Your gun gonna go up in the air, which is not going to be a good situation for everybody concerned. But he kept telling the dude, he says, sir, stop, drop your weapon, drop your weapon. He said that about 10 times. That dude kept coming toward him because dude was drunk. Do you know he did not shoot him? No, he did shoot him. After all that time, he finally shot him. Guess where he shot him? He didn't shoot him at center mass and right here like we were trained to do. He shot him in the shoulder. He didn't shoot him at center mass. I seen other instances, same situation. More than one police officer. Drop your weapon, sir, drop your weapon. One of them pulled out their taser and tased the dude. And he finally fell on the ground doing this. They didn't even shoot the dude. And they had the right to shoot his ass. Let me explain something to you. If you are holding anything that can be construed as a weapon, I don't give a damn if it's a baby spoon. They can shoot you. They can smoke you on sight. Because the Supreme Court has had so many cases that have gone to the Supreme Court where they don't even have to read their rights to you. The Miranda Act, Arizona versus Miranda, which is like a 1960-something case. It was a Mexican dude named Miranda. His last name was Miranda. And I think the Phoenix police officer, the guy didn't speak English. So he ended up going to prison, and they didn't read him his rights. And so what that precedent was set that you have to, not only do you have to read them their rights in English, if they can't speak your language, you have to find an interpreter. You got to sit there till you find somebody that speaks Swahili. If this is a brother straight from Africa, one of them African countries where they speak Swahili, you got to find somebody that speaks Swahili, even if it's just an interpreter. That's the law. But there have been court cases that have gone to the Supreme Court where they have been able to get around even the Miranda warnings. That's why they're supposed to read you your rights if you're under arrest. That's why if you get detained, which is called detained, if you are detained by the police, you're going to hear one or two things. They're going to say, ma'am, sir, you can talk to us right now, or you can we can, or if you don't want to talk to us and you want to be represented by an attorney, that's fine too. Now, if they got probable cause to arrest you, you still going to county jail regardless. They just ain't gonna ask you nothing, but they'll just take you downtown. I suggest those of you lay folks out here who don't know any better, I suggest you not say anything. I don't care if they caught you with a dead 13-year-old white girl in the middle of naked white girl, right, and tied up in the middle of your living room. When they ask you how she got there, you be like, I don't know. I want my attorney. You'd be surprised how many cases have been beat because guys kept their mouth closed. Contrary to what you see on the first 48. Nah, shawty. Man, I didn't kill left foot, man. I didn't kill him, man. Then next thing you know, they start talking. You want to go to jail? You want to go home? All right, man, I shot left foot, man. I shot him, man. He shorted me some money, man. I sold him an ounce. He didn't give me my money, man. Next thing you know, at the end of the show, they going downtown. And he confessed. Now, if you confess and they didn't read you your rights, they didn't give you your Miranda warning, your testimony can be thrown out of court. But there's some judges who will, again, like Tariq say, it's I'm white and I say so. That civil case between Constant and Cosby, that was sealed, and they unsealed it. What case with a white defendant have you ever seen them unseal something? They don't do that. But with Bill Cosby, they did it because the judge was complicit. You see how that works? If it's a white suspect, they will try to de-escalate the situation. They will go through all of their skills in order to keep from shooting somebody if the suspect is a white person. But if they're black, or in some cases, in some neighborhoods, Hispanic, oh, they'll smoke you. Oh, they'll smoke you. Did he have a gun? Nope. We thought it was. District attorney like, good enough for me. No charges. So all these people marching in Sacramento over Stephon Clark, they wasting their time. Ain't nothing going to happen. And they might get the family $3 million, $4 million to shut them up. That hustle is going to end too. Some cities are already talking about not giving no money because some black folks are so ridiculous that they willing to sit up there and sacrifice their family member for a couple million. Hell, the lawyer gonna get most of that. The lawyer gonna get 40% or more of that. So the standards at the state level, the post standards, those procedures that are written in stone have to be changed, or they have to be amended. And you got to have money to do that. Just like how the homosexuals got homosexual marriage, they had to raise millions of dollars. See, the reason why I look, I don't have to ask for donations. The reason why I ask for donations is because you should know better. That nothing, quality information is not free. My time ain't free. See, a lot of you guys don't respect nobody's time because you don't respect your own time. Nothing gets done in America without money. And it's going to take cash money to change that stuff in all 50 states, or at least the states where there's a high population of black, there's a population density of black people. States like California, Illinois, New York State, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. I'm just giving you some examples. It's going to take millions of dollars, dog. Your marching and protesting ain't going to make any changes. And you whining to your congressman ain't going to change nothing. You whining to your state legislators ain't going to change nothing without that cash and them being threatened that the next time they try to get reelected, you going to make sure you put somebody in there that's going to give you some tangibles. You understand me? Criminal justice reform, prison reform is that's a slap in the face. All of us ain't in prison. All of us ain't criminals. So how we all gonna benefit from that? Well, you got Ray Rays and Pookies in your family, don't you, black man? No. I ain't got nobody that going in and out of prison in my family. So white dude, you need to come correct. Where's them tangibles? I want the standards, the police procedures amended, changed, or something. Something gonna get done. Where we want laws on the procedures on the books that say if a suspect, if there's not a clear and present danger or exigent circumstances. Exigent circumstances mean like you in pursuit of me and say I whip out a gun and I turn around and point it at you. Now you can drop me to the ground. But if I'm running away from you and I'm holding a gun and I drop the gun and I get halfway down the street and you shoot me because you can, you ought to be going to jail. Now that Somalian cop up there in Minneapolis, where I'm from, they got that dude on trial. The Hennepin County District Attorney filed charges against him. Yet a few months before that, when Jamar Clark got killed by the police, the old Nazi cop said that he tried to grab their gun. They always lie. They either say he had a gun and I had to shoot him, and then you find out there was no gun nowhere near the nigga, or they say, what else they say? They say, he tried to grab my gun. Those are the two lies they always tell. Now, that Amber Geiger, the one that was the Dallas Police Department, the police officer that killed that innocent brother, that was from the Caribbean. What they didn't tell you is they got one witness, a young black woman Go look at Willie D's videos. Go to Willie D's channel and find they got he got a picture of her on the video. I forgot her name. Young, good-looking sister. She's the only one that witnessed the shooting. See, they ain't tell nobody that. She was a pharmaceutical sales rep making bank. Do you know those Nazi Dallas police officials called her job and got her fired? They were supposed to put her in witness protection, and they have, and Dallas County Prosecutor's Office has done nothing. This sister has lost her apartment. She lost her job, and they threatening her if she testifies in this case. And ain't nobody out here got her back. You see how we get done? If for no other reason, but that's young sister trying to stand up and do the right thing. Because if it was some of you so-called men, you would have punked out and hid. And the DA would have dropped that case because she don't want to prosecute that case anyway. Well, it's they got a black prosecutor. So what? You think them, man, do you know how many black women don't care nothing about, all they care about is being in good with white zaddy and white mommy? They don't care about justice, especially black women. They supposed to have that woman under 24-hour protection. They got her just twisting in the wind because they want her to say she ain't going to testify so they can drop that case. Because with her, I guarantee if they don't do a change of venue where they in a part of Dallas County or they go to another county where it's all white and they get an all white jury of her peers, she going to jail if she get prosecuted in downtown Dallas. She's going to prison because those Negroes will make sure she go to jail. See how they do us? This is why black men got to stand up and stop being cowards and stop waiting for somebody to chew your behind out for you to get up off your behind and protect what's yours. See, men stand up and they protect what's theirs with their lives. Females or female-minded males sit there and wait for another man to do something they ought to do. This thing of these cops killing black people is not going to stop until you get those procedural standards changed at the state level. Otherwise, we are wasting our time. And it doesn't make no sense to get anything changed at the federal level because they have no say in what the county, state, and the cities do with their police officers. Police officers are given leeway and because they're supposed to be better trained than they were when I was a kid, they're expected to use their brains. And these guys are not doing that. They saying, oh, if I kill this black person, hey, I'm going to still keep my job. Betty Shelby, when she killed Terrence Crutcher in Tulsa, Oklahoma, she got hired at Tulsa County Sheriff's Department. She's still a cop. She's in the office, but she still got a gun and a badge and a pension. Terrence Crutch's family, they don't know, you know, they family life is in disarray right now. I thought he was reaching in the car to get a gun. His window wasn't down. You lying. And even if they perjure themselves and lie, they're still supposed to be charged with a felony. They're still supposed to be fired. And whatever the sentencing or whatever the punishment that comes with perjuring themselves, they ought to go to jail or be put on probation, whatever it calls for. You have to understand something. The only time white police officers are thoroughly punished is when they kill white citizens. All of a sudden, the district attorney can get off their behind and file charges. Even in the case of George Zimmerman wasn't even a real cop. He wasn't even a rent-a-cop. He was neighborhood watch. He was flashlight only. He driving around his regular car, trying to start something with somebody. He had every opportunity to walk away. He up here hunting a child. And when that child beat the brakes off of him, he did what any racist coward is gonna do. He's gonna whip out a gun. And you see the state attorney's office sat up there and put on that kangaroo court case and purposely bungled that case so Zimmerman could walk free. And to make matters worse, all you gangsters out here talking about I'm gangster with it. George Zimmerman still riding around, going on the I killed Trayvon Martin tour. He ain't stopped. He up here signing bags of Skittles. Man, you know what, man? Let me tell you something. Black men, you better grow a pair. You better grow a pair real fast, because the next time one of these race soldiers go out here and kill somebody, it might be somebody in your family. And because you sat there and didn't do anything and said, well, that's somebody else's job, or let the women do it, it might happen to you. So this is why, even though we're talking about a presidential election in 2020, there's still going to be some governors' races and some state legislators who are going to run for re-election. Let that be part of what they need to hear. Say, hey, man, you want to get reelected? You make sure you change the POST standards. And you know they're going to play dumb. Oh, what's that? Oh, they're going to play dumb because they don't expect you to know this. See, I'm the only one that's talking about this because I got a degree in this crap. I know what's going on with them. I know how they're trained and what they're trained to do. And I can tell you that they have a very wide, or they have the autonomy to do whatever they want to do out there on these streets, especially when they engage us. So hopefully something I'm saying tonight, if nothing else, maybe it will save your life, because you'll think about, what did the Iceman say? If it's one cop, he's your contact officer. If the cop that's coming up to usually it come up to the driver's side door, because back in the day, the old school way was to use, sometimes some officers still do come to the driver's side. Well, this is why they stopped telling them to do that, because all you got to do is go bang, bang, bang and drive off. If they're across the window like this at the driver's side, they got time to react a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? The officer that's coming in contact with you is called the contact officer. The officer who's standing back there behind the car, that's your cover officer. If he or she gets fired upon, he or she can provide cover. That's how I was trained. I don't have time to give you like any more of this stuff, because I'm not going to be on here this long. But hopefully this information will help you educate yourself as well as educate your loved ones, so they understand what is happening when you get engaged by the police. If you are not arrested, you are what? Detained. It's a form of arrest, but it's kind of like catch and release. And being detained can mean anything from being held out there on the side of the road or the street to them taking you to the station. If they take you to county jail, lockup, you are arrested. Detained mean they want to get some info, and they plan on releasing you in a timely manner. Hopefully. Remember that. There's a difference between being arrested and being detained. If you have been arrested and they have not read your rights, don't say nothing. Don't say, hey, you didn't read me my rights. Don't say shit. Damn, I wasn't going to cuss. Damn. Don't say anything. Just keep your mouth closed. And then when you get your luck, if you can hire an attorney or you get your public pretender, you tell them, hey, they didn't read me my Miranda rights. But make sure it's just you and your lawyer. Because your lawyer, the first thing he or she gonna do is he'll be like, Your Honor, I want to file a motion to dismiss. And the judge gonna be like, on what grounds? And your lawyer gonna be like, Officer so-and-so and them didn't read my client his rights before he was arrested. And then he gonna look right at the prosecutor and gonna be like, is this true? Well, Your Honor, they're gonna be looking through their papers. No, they don't know. You'd be surprised how unprepared some of these lawyers be in court. I've seen it all. Because you got to understand, when prosecutors, especially white prosecutors, actually don't matter what color they are. If you a black man sitting over there, a black woman sitting over there, they know they got you. Even if you didn't do it. That's why you think You know why they started all these innocent projects all around the country? You know why they started them? Because of black men going to prison for crimes they have not committed. Other than being maybe not being that smart, being in the wrong place at the wrong time and the wrong color, and being poor. There's guys sitting in prison right now on it can't get out of prison because of technicalities. Because a lot of times these appeals courts don't like to overturn convictions, especially in the cases of black men. Even if there are serious, egregious injustices that have been committed against these black men. They didn't start the Innocence Project for white men. They started it because of us. You know how many white women are still going down to the police station saying some black man raped them? They still doing that in 2019. On my Facebook page, I've posted cases of Caucasian females who have lied and said black men raped them. Because they trying to cover up for cheating on their white husband or boyfriend. I've seen cases where Caucasian females were cheating on their white husbands with black men and said when they got caught, they said, oh, he raped me. Next thing you know, 20 years later, now this brother getting out of prison. Because the woman finally turned around and said after 10 years that that he didn't rape her. He was somebody she was messing with. But yet the courts won't let her. I've seen cases. There's cases right now with Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris, when she was the district attorney of San Francisco and the state of California attorney general. There are cases right now where black men, mainly black men, but also black women sitting in prison right now who should have been let out. But because her office said, I don't care. I don't care if the cops did lie. So what? I don't care if the DA did lie. I don't care if the DA made a mistake. So what? I've seen guys sit in prison 5, 6, 7, 10 more years before they got let out, before some lawyer got in front of a judge and said, look, we got to get this man another trial, if nothing else. Boy, you have no idea the kind of injustices that our people, our men deal with on a daily basis. I wish I had time to tell you. That's why we got to make sure Kamala Harris don't make it past the primaries. Otherwise, we getting the Obama 2.0. You think Obama care about black men going to prison? More black men got murdered by race soldiers posing as police officers under his tenure in the White House than any other president. And he's black. This is why we have to stop playing it safe and start putting some chips in the game. We got to start raising money for seat packs, stuff like that, getting behind candidates that promise us something, who say, I'm giving you tangibles, brother. I ain't just whistling. I ain't just saying I'm gonna give you $100 billion in reparations and not say how you gonna allocate those resources. I don't want to hear a bunch of big mouth talk. And there's no chance of you even becoming president. That Marianne Williamson, she ain't even gonna get enough delegates to even be put in the primary. She just up there. She just a plant. She just up there running her mouth. She ain't serious about running. That's why Cory Hooker and Kamala Harris, they got to get in, and Bernie Colonel Sanders have to be sent packing, because none of them are going to do anything for us on the federal level. But we got to use the same strategy that we're using, that's working on these Democratic presidential candidates. We got to use that same strategy all the way down to the mayor's office, to the alderman's office, to the city council office, to the county supervisor's office. At the state level, work has to be done. And for all you young brothers and sisters sitting out here on the sidelines making excuses, waiting for somebody my age to make decisions or put our necks on the line so that you can stay at home and be safe and play PS4 and Xbox Live. You deserve to get shot by the police. Yeah, I said it. The reason why Robert Kraft is being thrown under the bus is because they want to try to possibly force the sale of the Patriots. Now, if they sell the Patriots, is he going to make out like a fat rat? Yeah, he's going to make out like a fat rat, because Jerry Jones said that he could sell the Dallas Cowboys right now for $10 billion. So if the Patriots are worth more than the Cowboys, then we know if he get $10 billion for the Cowboys, then we know that Robert Kraft can get about 12, 13, 15 billion for the Patriots, if not more. Because if he is convicted, which I don't know if he will, but they said they got footage of him getting his man business serviced. Because like they said this has been an ongoing investigation. And as far as they are concerned, you have to understand the NFL has what they call it, conduct clauses that goes all the way up to the owners. You can't be out there buying. Now you can cheat on your wife. Ain't nobody gonna try to make you sell your team if you cheating on your wife. No. But if you out here slapping hoes upside their head, you slapping the taste out their mouth, yeah. Now this dude that owns the CEO of the San Francisco Giants, the baseball team, they show him, tussling with his old lady, pulling his old lady. He trying to snatch something out of her hand. She ended up on the ground. Now, had that been a brother, they'd be like, "Oh, he been fired already." Far as I know, ain't nothing happened to him. He said, "Oh, I've already apologized, and we're working it out as a family." Now, you know good and well that ain't gonna work for no black person. Understand me? They pulled the same thing. They did the same thing with the Atlanta Hawks basketball team. The owner, one of the owners of the team, said something, was overheard saying something to the general manager that could have been construed as something racist, and they used that as an excuse to force the sale of the Atlanta Hawks. Hey, let me tell you something. If they don't like you, if they don't see, you have to understand something. When the LA Clippers was because we all know that the Jewish dude that owned them, he didn't pay no $2 billion for that team. He paid about $300 million. And he sold it for $2 billion. The Clippers wasn't worth no $2 billion, dog. They ain't won nan championship. But they got sold for $2 billion. You have to understand, this is the part of business that they don't teach in the MBA classes when I went through my MBA program. Let me explain something to you. When you do stuff like that, where you force a sale, basically what you doing is you telling the international business community that, hey, if you want to buy a team, this is minimum what you got to come to the table with. So if they sell the Clippers for $2 billion, that dries up the stake, that dries up the value of the whole league. They ain't sold no $10 billion team yet. Let me tell you something. If Jerry Jones said he was selling the team for $10 billion, let me tell you something. There'd be investors from all over the world coming together trying to buy the Cowboys. And they'd have the money in a week, if not a day. There's white dudes sitting here right now that got that kind of bread. But some of them dudes don't want to own no sports team. Warren Buffett don't want to own no sports team. Although he got the money. Bill Gates too. But there's some Arab dudes that got that kind of money that have American, that have U.S. citizenship or dual citizenship, and they not gonna buy none of them teams because they know the sale wouldn't go through. Because one of them rednecks gonna be like, oh, they terrorists. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Saturday, the Player Circle podcast, the topic for Saturday's podcast will be how Black women have conspired with Caucasian males to destroy the Black man. So be on hand for that. We're going to be here on Facebook Live, 1 p.m. Pacific time. YouTube, make sure you're in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm serious about this. We need to raise minimum $100 for fundraising. If we do not do it, I'm going back to subscription only. Okay? I'm just warning you up front. You tuned into the Iceman Show podcast. I want to thank everybody who's donated tonight. Everybody. I want to thank everybody who donated tonight. Thank you. You tuned into the Iceman Show podcast. I'm your host, the Iceman. Hope you've been enlightened. Holler at your boy.